ladies and gentlemen, finally, we have new information about the next expansion for World of Warcraft, which is Shadowlands. So we have a kind of a blog update here, a developer update, and I'm gonna kind of like shorten it for you guys as much as I can. I'm gonna explain it as best I can of what their update is about. And we actually got I think an hour ago we got another update as well, which we're going to go into. So this first Shadowlands developer update, April 6th. So that was yesterday, as I'm doing this video now. So I'm going to go over the different paragraphs very briefly, my thoughts about the paragraphs here. So first paragraph, it's been 5 months since they released that Shadowlands is happening. Okay, so they've been working very hard, yada yada. Now the first batch of invitations for this beta, well, it's going to be the alpha, but the alpha is for a long time. It's going to be happening later this week. So long time WoW players, Blizzard's friends and family, and other content creators and some journalists, they're going to get the first invites. That'll happen at the end of this week. So around the 9th or the 10th, we should see the first wave of invitations to do the alpha. So, and what's the difference between alpha and beta? Alpha is parts of the expansion that'll be able to be tested, not the whole thing. If we're talking about beta, beta is the whole expansion being tested. So that's the difference. That's very important. So these people who are getting that first round of invites, they're only going to test a very small part of the game. It's not the whole game. So just so you guys know the difference between alpha and beta. So in the next paragraph, they go on to explain that there will be the zone bastion available, a full level up experience, and of course along with a dungeon called Necrotic Wake. So they'll be able to experience a zone and a dungeon. So that'll be cool. It's something, and then later on they're going to keep releasing new content, and then periodically inviting more people as the content gets bigger. So so this is very exciting news. They go on to say in these bulletin points here. Now, of course, there's 12 classes in the game, and there's going to be some changes from your spell books, your talents, and even some resources they go along to say. So this is going to shake some things up, and what I've been told previously is that we're going to see a lot of spells and abilities from the past come back to us so we can utilize them again. So that's another exciting, I can't wait for that. And they have released another blog that I'm going to go into just an hour or two ago about these changes. And I'm going to link these, of course. I'm going to link the URLs below the YouTube video here, so you guys can click on them and view them at your own leisure. But I will go in and explain some of them. So the next bulletin point says improvements of the quest interface. And to summarize what they're talking about is basically, in my previous video I said about the World Quest List add-on. And I think that's going to be heavily, Blizzard is going to heavily borrow from that add-on as far as what they're explaining here in this paragraph. So that's going to be interesting. So we may or may not need that add-on anymore. So just keep that in mind. The next bulletin, probably the most important bulletin point that WoW players are very excited to hear about, PvP vendors are returning. So that's something we did not have in the previous, in Battle for Azeroth. So this is going to be an exciting change of pace. I'm not sure if we even have it on Legion. I'm not sure about that. But somebody correct me in the comments below. Did we have PvP vendors in Legion? I can't remember. I definitely know we had them in Warlords. But anyway, they have returned. So that's huge. That's a great a bring back, especially for PvP. Now they're still going to be rated. Okay, so if for like a weapon, you might need 1800 plus rating to unlock that weapon so you can buy it with your PvP conquest currency stuff. I think we did have PvP vendors in Legion. Anyway, let's get back on track. So that's a huge deal for PvPers. So, I PvP very seldom, but it's always great to just buy what you want, what you need. Even PvP items might even help you in PvE. So it's a win-win situation, really. So that's great. That's a big news. So I'm very excited about that. So in the last paragraph here in this update, they go along to explain that, hey, there's going to be data miners, whatever you want to call them, that are going to be looking into what's actually in the whole alpha beta a package here, and they're going to see craft the legendary items, the covenant sanctum, soul binding things. So, and basically they're telling us, take it with a grain of salt. Things are going to change. Okay, this is why they do the alpha beta test, because they want your feedback. So let's give it to them. Let's try to give them the best feedback we can possibly give them. So we're going to take a look at another link, and let's go right to that. Now the next update here is a look at the Covenant class and signature abilities. So previously we knew what covenants were there. I know we can pick from 5, 1, 2, 3, no, just four covenants. Now I'm terrible at pronunciation, so bear with me. The Kyrians, I believe, the Necrolords, the Night Fae, and the Venthyr. I believe that's how they're pronounced. Not sure. So those are the 4 different covenants you can pick. Initially, we had no clue on what they could do, what their abilities, what kind of abilities are they going to give us, what can we expect. In this blog here, like I said, I will provide the link below so you guys can take a look at it. It gives us more of an idea of what we can expect and what we might want to choose when this actually releases. So it gives us a little bit of a description. From now, these are the when we're going down here, we're looking at the covenant signature abilities here, and so this is I guess the main ability that you get from the Kyrian. You summon a steward, so you're a little summoning thing here. The Venthyr, kind of like looks like a kind of like a stealth ability. When through the shadows, appearing at a target location. Maybe a stealth teleporting ability. The Necrolord, you form a shield of flesh and bone. It increases when you're standing near a corpse. Create a larger shield. And with a Night Fae, you turn into a Vulpin. Not sure what a Vulpin is, but your movement speed will increase. So another teleporting thing as well. So these are interesting. I don't know how they're going to work out, but read up on them. I don't want to get too long with what each thing does. And so here's a graphic of some of the abilities here. Looks like this guy fires a spear, which looks cool. It definitely looks cool. This guy is powering up, doing something with it. Not sure what, but it's a priest and a warrior. Obviously, this is the warrior. The next one is the priest. So here we go into nitty-gritty of all the class abilities, the specific class abilities that each covenant supplies you. So I'm not going to read them all. It's way too long. I will read the Druid because I am a Druid main. And each, they label it here, the Kyrian, Venthyr, Necrolord, Night Fae, and what they do underneath their designated classes here. So the Druid underneath the Kyrian, I will read the Druids. The kindred spirits form a bond with an ally on a cooldown. You may empower the bond for a period of time, granting you an effect based on your partner's role and granting them an effect based on your role. So that's interesting. Maybe more healer oriented. I'm not sure though. Kind of a little vague, but we'll find out eventually. So the Ravenous, I can't pronounce that word. Ravenous Frenzy. It's from the Venthyr Covenant. Now this interests me as a feral druid, even as a guardian druid. For a period of time, I think this is the best one to be honest. For a period of time, druid spells you cast increase your damage, healing, and haste by a percentage stacking. So stacking, we love things that stack, right? If you spend a period, now this is important. If you spend a period of time idle, which you're like, you're basically standing still, and I never stand still. I know that. I'm constantly moving around because of mechanics and things like that. The frenzy overcomes you, consuming a percentage of your health per stack, stunning you, and then ending. So you do not want to be sitting around. So it says spend a period of time idle. So very interesting. Um, but that might be an ability I might pick up. We go to the next one, adapt a swarm from the Necrolord. Command a swarm that heals or deals shadow damage to a target and increases the effectiveness of your periodic effects on them. Upon expiration, travels to a new card within range, alternating between friend and foe up to set. So it looks like, I think this is like a boomkin / healer type of ability that would be useful. I'm not sure, maybe more healer. I don't know. But another interesting ability. And finally, convoke the spirits, which is the Night Fae. Call upon the Night Fae for an eruption of energy, channeling a rapid flurry of 16 Druid spells and abilities over 4 seconds. Wow, okay. That's kind of like overwhelming. You will cast Moonfire, Wrath, Regrowth, Rejuvenation, Thrash, Rake, Shred, and Iron Fur on appropriate nearby targets, favoring your current specialization. Now, I wonder what the radius is on this, because once again, I think that's healer. You know, I mean, even I don't know. I think healer would benefit from the most from that with the regroup plus rejuvenation. But you're also doing thrash plus rake plus shred, so that might be good for DPS as well. And the boomkin. I don't play boomkin, but I'm assuming that I can't see how this would be good for a tank. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's really early. I'm sure these things might change, but it's a nice overlook of what we can expect. Now, oh, look at all these abilities. Now, some are work in progress for the monk. So, yeah, more work in progress. They're still not done with them. Looking at this, I think it's going to be really hard to balance all this stuff, I think it's going to be a really hard task for Blizzard to balance all these abilities and things like that. It's going to be crazy on top of the abilities we're getting back now, I mean, so they're really going to have to listen to the community about this. So it's just an interesting take on what we can expect, but once again, it's early, so this is where we can give our feedback and make this a great game, a great expansion. We want to try to make it way better than BFA. So now, I believe they have one more update, and let's just go to that right now. Okay, this is the one that just came out just a few hours ago, April 7th here, as far as when I'm doing this video. I'm going to probably release this video tomorrow. So, this is the big one, I think. This is the class updates of all the new spells and abilities and things like that. In this big paragraph, they're just talking about from the previous expansions, the now expansion, how that's different, how it's changed, what they want to focus now in Shadowlands. They want to have that ideal that a specialization is about powering up a specific part of its class kit, not narrowing down the tool set. So, they want you to have a number of abilities and skills to use and to be creative with those abilities and skills. So this is definitely the big one. Like I said, I'm going to link this in my video as well. So I'm not going over every single class, but there's some interesting changes, even for Death Knight here, right away that they're implying. And they say it's an update, like things are subject to change. That's why we're doing this alpha beta thing. So if there's something you don't like, well, talk to them about it. Give them the feedback. That's what it's for. It's about communication and things like that. But I don't need to lecture you guys on that. You know that. So let's go down to our favorite class, the Druid. All right? That's what I'm maining, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So, we're all masters of shape-shifting here. We understand that. So the general changes for all Druids. All Druids are going to have this. All Druids will be able to use Ferocious Bite, Barkskin, Cyclone, Stampeding Roar, and Iron Fur. That's a weird one, but that might be very useful, regardless of their active specialization. So that's pretty cool. Heart of the Wild has returned as a talent. I thought that was a huge talent back in, I think, Wrath. That was a big talent to have for at least Pharaohs. I know that. It's a 20% increase of something, if I remember correctly. Um, so that's cool. That's good news to me. We got affinity talents associated with each specialization. We also gain an additional utility ability. Balance receives Typhoon. Pharaoh gets Maim. Guardian gets Incapacitating Roar. And Restoration can use Ursul's Vortex. So things are being changed around a little bit. I'm going to see what's new with Pharaoh. Not a whole lot. Pharaoh's pretty tough. Fierce Felines will see their Blood Talons talent reimagine, okay? Tapping into their primal power, alright? When Pharaoh Druids use Rake or Shred, Rake, and Ferocious Bite in quick succession, okay, what does that mean though? Like within how many seconds? I mean, can I use Shred or do I have to use that in order? Do I have to use Shred, Rake, and Ferocious Bite in order? Or can I use Shred and then Ferocious Bite and Rake and the damage of their next rip will increase dramatically? Okay. So it's not telling me a whole lot because I don't want to get too deep in Pharaoh. I don't want to confuse you guys anymore. This is just a basic explain it like I'm 5, what's going on. We're going to stop there. Guardian, I'm going to take a look at as well. Guardian Druids, their brutes. Oh, Berserk. We can use Berserk now. I can't remember when the last time we could use Berserk. Can't remember. I don't think it was in Legion. I definitely know. I think it was in Warlords. I remember it was overpowered having Guardian Druid have Berserk. I thought that's why I took it away. Reducing the cooldowns of Mangle, Thrash, Growl, who cares? Frenzy Rejuvenation, while also having the cost of Iron Fur. Renewal has also returned as a talent choice, instantly healing the Guardian Druid for a fair bit of their maximum health. Oh boy, I think Guardian Druids are going to be pretty good in Shadowlands just from these 2 talents alone, because damn, we'll be self-healing machines. That sounds great. So I'm excited about the Guardian Druid changes. Pharaoh, it's like, give me more information with that. But you can find your classes underneath here as well. They have every single class ready to give you more information. Ooh, Paladin, look at that. Oh boy. So Paladin looks like the most. But some Warlock changes here. Some big paragraphs. So feel free to read that. That's going to be interesting. All right, we have one more blog update that just updated. So let's go to that. Now the final update is just pretty much lore, mobs, and talking more about the Kyrian Covenant. So it goes on to first say Sylvanas is the big bad guy, and you got to follow her, see what's going on. Then you counter. Now this is your Bastion. This zone is the newest zone here, and this is where the Kyrians reside. So basically, you got to purify your mortal body. You got to go through some training here, as you prepare for Ascendance. I guess that's what it's called. So you have to kind of like ascend your mortal body, and so it could, thrive in the mortal realm or the immortal realm, really. Basically the afterlife here. So home of the pure, basically. So a Bastion is brought to life by its inhabitants, and if you wish to entangle the Banshee Queen Safaria's plans, you'll need to earn an alliance with them. So these are the inhabitants, the Kyrians themselves. Holy beings, pure beings here. Stewards that look like owl dudes. Forswarm, the Centurions. Cool, that looks cool. The Memories. That looks like a bad guy to me. But I'm not sure. Oh no, it is a bad guy, as I'm reading it. Only by striking them down can the Kyrian cleanse themselves and achieve ascendance. Okay. Alright, that makes more sense. So these are just, different, people, maybe mobs, and they explain the Kyrian Covenant here. So when players reach maximum level, have explored the first 4 zones, they're able to pledge themselves to a covenant. So you go back after your max level, yada yada. You they explain more what we said before, how these guys you can summon basically a steward here to help you out. They talk about soul binding, which is something I'm not sure. I'm not really understanding it correctly. When you join a covenant, you'll be able to undergo an ancient rite to bind your soul to some of its most powerful members. So I'm going to need to see how this plays out. And you harness their power to power for bonuses. So this is, I'm going to need a visual on how this is done. You unlock new tiers of power, and you can switch soul binds when you need to. So looks like you'll be able to receive some cosmetic rewards depending on what covenant you are. This one's a mount, a pet, different armor looks, back attachments that rival other wings. So that's neat, So this is more lore type of cosmetic and mob related blog update here, and useful information, what to expect, what's the common theme we're going to counter here. So now there's spoilers inside stories. I'm not going to read the story spoilers. I just want to see the pictures, what it looks like. This is the Necrotic Waken Dungeons. So I'm going to go on, scroll if you can stop watching the video if you don't want to see spoilers. That's why they put the bar here. So all right, this looks cool. It looks very Naxxramas-ish here. Oh, well, the forces of Maldraxxus. So I'm assuming that has some part of the freaking Legion here. I mean, they have like Legion spaceships here. I don't know. But ransack the Temple of Courage. That's neat. It's like kind of like Zelda here. So the difficulties are normal, heroic, mythic, level 50 and up. So they just label the bosses here. What can you expect? It's a 5-player dungeon. And that's basically about it without reading too much. I'm not going to read too much in there. I don't want to spoil people who are still just listening. But yeah, something we can expect. If you guys get the alpha invitation, you can expect to 5-man dungeon in the Necrotic Wake. So that is pretty much all the updates we have received from Blizzard so far, from April 6th and April 7th of 2020. So, I know I went a little long because I was giving you guys my takes on what I was reading here, but it's all useful information and we realize how important this information is, so we can give Blizzard the feedback, once again, give them the feedback they need to make this expansion, let's just say, much better than Battle for Azeroth. I think they realize they messed up Battle for Azeroth a little bit, and they will really want to make it up with Shadowlands. So let's give them the support and feedback. I've already seen a lot of feedback on Reddit and their forum site, especially with the whole balancing, how they're going to balance all these abilities, things like that. Well, let's help them out. Let's try to figure them out. So, all right. Well, thank you again for your support, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Adios.